Dun, 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 dun. Well, what do we have here? Yes, that's right, a roundtable edition of the show. You know what that means. Somebody had stuff. They had to be out of town. So we don't like to leave you guys episodeless. And when we have that happen, well, we get around a table and we talk about a cool thing. That's what we're doing today. I'm Scott Johnson with Brian Ibbett. We'll start with him. Hi, Brian.
Hello. Hi.
Hi, Randy Jordan.
Hello. Good morning.
And hello, Brian Dunaway.
Oh, hi.
Excellent. Everyone's here and accounted for. We're going to get right into it. Guys, spy movies, they're cool. You know, Bond.
We watched a few here on the Film Sack, haven't we?
Yeah. I don't even know if we have do we have a definitive list of all the spy or spy adjacent films we've seen? That would be actually a cool thing to have.
It would be a huge list.
Yeah.
Like it's probably in near 100, like a high dozens. You know?
Yeah,
We've
that sounds
done
right.
James Bond, the Bourne series.
Saint.
Yeah, Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible.
And that's kind of where, a good place to start is defining a spy movie, right? Because does it have to be, can your heist movies also be spy movies, or can they?
Oh, great question.
No.
does that
Okay,
separate
so-
I
them?
think country versus country, right? Like
right, so
military
you're talking
versus
like Tinker
military.
Tailor, Soldier Spy kind of things, like where it's international espionage.
There doesn't necessarily have to be anything international, right? So like 3 Days of the Condor, which we sacked, a year ago?
Oh,
Something like that.
good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that's a
there's-
spy movie. It's more like an inadvertent. He didn't plan on being a spy, though, right? Like that was.
But he definitely worked for a government agency. And that's like step one. You have to have an agency. You have to have people who are working in an office to support the acts of the spy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
And so like it's usually a government agency. It can be a rogue agency, right? Like
sure.
Archer is famous for setting up the idea of an agency that's beholden to no one except a crazy old woman.
Yeah.
But like, but there's usually an agency. There's usually a person or persons who are operatives. And then there's usually some kind of conflict for the operatives to figure out, some mystery, something that has to be done that is outside the law, right?
Right. I think so. Like, and they don't always do this, but oftentimes, especially I guess sequels. But like the Mission Impossible thing, well, no, right away it is. It's always about somebody up high in power is either abusing that power or
working both sides.
Working both sides, yeah. There's always a mole. Like that's kind of annoying that's always in these things.
James Bond went a really long time without that, without the intrigue of the higher ups being also corrupt.
Yeah,
right.
They did get to it eventually, but yes.
And so like that's not a necessity, but it's definitely something that spy movies like to get into because it's very interesting to us. The idea that you wield a lethal power, and that means the people above you are very powerful and they power corrupts.
I made a comment. Go ahead, Dunaway. Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, and that probably started after James Bond because once, especially in the U.S., once we had the Kennedy assassination, we really started looking at corruption in government and started thinking about that kind of stuff. And I think that kind of permeated in how we looked at how governments operate.
Yeah, I think
in our generation.
I don't think so. I still don't think the Kennedy assassination was an inside job, but it doesn't matter.
Right.
What the public
the question.
Yeah, the public we're not given enough answers, and when that happens, the public starts to fill in the blanks.
Until Nixon actually proved it and said, "Oh yeah, I'm doing some shit."
And I want to immediately push back on Kennedy assassination. It definitely had an impact on film, but for instance, one of the greatest spy movies of all time is Alfred Hitchcock's Notorious, which came out in 1946, right? It's very much about what we've got to do as in espionage following World War II, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And spy as a genre really goes back to the beginning of film.
But it was the corruption in government that I was kind of
sure.
That.
Yeah, absolutely. But like corruption in government goes back to the beginning of government.
Yeah,
it's just
it's just how soon did we as I say we how soon did filmmakers start to push the boundaries of what if the call was coming from inside the house the whole time? You know, that trope, and I feel like that trope has never left. Like we just all the Mission Impossible, somebody's screwing somebody over on the inside.
Always a double agent, always somebody who's
which is really not annoying. I understand why it works but
it feels like there should be some other elements that could be common. I don't want to say tropes because I don't want these things to fall into tropes, but some other plot twists that could befall a spy besides it being, by the way, you're working with a double agent.
Yeah, there's a mole. Guess what, everybody? There's a mole, and Ethan Hunt didn't know about it until the end. Now he's got to go Rogue Nation. Blah, 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 blah. Like those movies are amazing. They're really good. Like it's one of the greatest series of all time. But I do tire of somebody on the inside screwing somebody.
Spies are about deception, right? So I mean, you got to have that. I mean, the whole idea of spies is about deceiving, and if you could subvert and like a magician and go, look over here. This is where the real badness is.
Yeah, but you don't need the rabbit that he pulls out of the hat to be working for another magician down the way.
That's a good way of putting it. I like it.
I think that you're almost guaranteed to have that sort of double cross. Like, and from my mind, it goes back to the Manchurian Candidate.
Right. That's a good
it's
one.
Just like you have to have a mystery to be solved, and the most obvious mysteries are the ones that are closest to you, right?
Right.
So, like Frank Sinatra's trying to figure out why he doesn't really know much about Lawrence Harvey.
Right.
There's this other thing though, which is spy movies are all about the consequences of life and death being the only answer to political strife. Like spies, they kill people,
right?
Like, or at some point, that's what the reason they exist is to kill people. James Bond has a license to kill,
right?
And I'm having a really hard time thinking of spy movies that don't examine that specifically. Let
me ask you about let's talk about the what's that Kevin Costner movie where it turns out
No Way Out.
If it fits the definition of a spy movie, and I think it does, it's got all the intrigue and the mole and everything else.
He is the spy. He is playing both sides, and he is the.
But he doesn't hurt anybody,
himself.
right? Doesn't kill anybody, as far as I know. Or does he? Does he have like a tussle with some? I know that Gene Hackman throws somebody off a balcony and they shatter her head on a table or something. I haven't seen that movie in a long time. I may not remember any of this.
The idea of a spy, their power is that they are kind of above the law or outside the law. So, you throw all criminality out. So killing someone, fine. You're a spy. You got to do what you got to do at the end of the day to get it done. You don't have to kill somebody. Matter of fact, you can't get information out of a dead guy.
That's true.
Ethan.
That's true, Ethan Hunt. You big dumbass. But no, like Batman is in a lot of ways, everyone always thinks detective, right? When Batman's at his best, but it's also kind of a spy thriller in a lot of ways. And it's like, it's more important to methodically figure this shit out instead of just killing people. So he
does a lot of his detecting by being a spy.
Yeah,
basically.
A lot of those spy tropes.
There's an interesting subject here, and I don't want to go too far down it, but I don't think spy movies have any overlap with superhero movies, and the reason is that superheroes have superpowers, and spies don't. For the most part, there are some things, right? There's a point where you're like, man, James Bond must have some kind of superpower because this guy never sleeps. But like superheroes, the world in which superheroes exist doesn't need spies.
Yeah, but I would argue
write in, Batman's not a superhero. Come on, let's don't write in.
Yeah, but I'm going to make the argument that Winter Soldier is a spy movie. It's a 70s spy thriller, and it works better probably for him because, again, it's a serum and it's not like some spooky space thing that made him powerful or whatever. But it really is, to its core, kind of a spy movie and a cloak and dagger deal. And
SHIELD is a spy agency. I'm just saying you don't have the spy movie stuff when you have superheroes, because superheroes break the rules of physics,
Right.
And like,
you say it doesn't have the spy stuff. I mean, let's define the spy stuff.
Spy
right?
stuff. Oh, I like that. Yes.
Going in covertly and getting information, posing as somebody else, sneaking into some sort of room you're not supposed to be in and getting the details or the data that you need.
I like this.
I always feel like it's about information getting. That's what I think about when I think of spies.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, like, if James Bond exists in the MCU, he's out of a job,
Yeah, no, it's a fair point. Like, it does. The reason I like what Marvel
what if
does,
he's in the DC universe?
But Marvel does this great thing where Marvel takes old ideas and applies them to superhero takes, and that's what Winter Soldier is. And I think that that's still valid, but I also take your point. Like, you want it to be grounded in some kind of reality. I get it.
It's kind of like having. I mean, we could say also some of those superhero films are heist movies. So I mean, yeah, but it is pure as core. I prefer a more serious.
Grounded.
I like
something that's
grounded.
real.
I like Bridge of Spies, even though that doesn't do much spying as much as just deals with the consequences of spying.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed that.
You know what? It's on my list of shame. I've never seen Bridge of Spies.
I really liked it.
It was really good.
I'll bet I would. And that's, hey, is there rain in that Spielberg movie? Because I don't know how Dunaway does with the rain.
Oh, there's actually, of course there's a bridge. There's going to be rain.
There's going to be rain if there's a bridge.
There's a bridge. There's rain automatically.
That's amazing.
The question is, what does the bridge mean?
Yeah. What does a wet bridge mean, Brian? What does it mean?
And what does of represent?
Oh my Lord. Well, anyway,
so we're in the midst of a decade-long project to sack all the James Bond movies, and it's because we're waiting for the next one to start streaming again. And I'm thinking about how we like some and we don't like others, and like what really makes it. And the interesting thing about James Bond is it's gone so long that we don't really rank them based on him being a spy doing spy things.
Right.
It's because it's so you almost get so used to it that it becomes white noise, the spy stuff.
Yeah.
No, he really had to go, like in those early ones, he really had to go, quote unquote, undercover and pose as somebody else to get information. And I think you also have to assume that in this world, in this James Bond cinematic universe, that basically everybody now knows who James Bond is. And
I hate that.
Yeah, if you see a guy who kind of looks like James Bond, that's probably James Bond dressed up as another guy trying to infiltrate your
yeah, and even if you don't, he's
evil lair.
Even if you don't, he'll tell you at the bar. He'll go ahead and say it.
Right.
He's always telling people who he is, and that's part of his whole thing is that he's at this casino in Morocco. Trying to infiltrate something, and the guy's like, "Who are you? I'm Bond, James Bond."
By the way, you'll see me with a mustache, fake mustache, a little bit. Try not to be surprised.
Yeah,
the world was a lot smaller.
That sounds like a James Bond title, by the way. The world's a lot smaller.
It does. The world was small enough. It was, because you didn't have the info. Because right now we have so much information exchange. Back then, information was a lot harder to come by, so it made sense to have spies. And James Bond could just go and say his name, and now you wouldn't even do that. As a matter of fact, now you would do mostly cyber espionage, right? Do you even need some boots on the ground? Do you need a James Bond diddling the ladies?
You just need some Chinese hackers to kind of do everything you need for you, right?
I think there's a bit of that. I think there's also, they've refined, I don't know anyone who's an actual spy, but I think they've refined what a spy does. There is still hands-on, but it's a lot of like, I don't know, like, if you're going to, so let's say I need to spy on Russia. You go over there you go, new spy, who does?
Quiet. Say it.
So you go over there and you go, hey, I'm one of you. And there's still value in that.
Hey, I'm Steven Seagal. I'm one of you. I'm not a spy.
There's still value in that, like, hands-on stuff, I think, probably. But I think there's probably less of it, if I had to guess. Also because it's just easier to get found. Like, in the 40s, if you were a spy, nobody knows who you are.
I mean, facial recognition software would be so hard.
Exactly. Security has gotten so good that being a spy is not what it used to be. It's a lot tougher, and you got to.
There's another title.
Yeah,
I was just about to say, what about Maria Butina? As though that just happened, and so I decided, wait a minute, when was Maria Butina? And I looked it up. It was 6 years ago.
Whoa,
6 years ago. that we had
66 years.
a Russian spy, convicted in the United States.
Yeah.
And it really feels like it just happened. But yes, there are absolutely spies on the ground right now all over the world,
Sure.
in all sorts of countries. But you're right that so much war is happening online now,
yeah.
and that's not easy to depict in a movie, right?
Yeah, they tried.
Unless it's sneakers.
Yeah, but Sneakers was also set. Well, I guess it was set in two times. It was set in the 70s and then set in the 90s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Very different time. Things have really advanced since then. But I think that if you take a movie like What the Net Wanted to Be,
Mhm.
it's not good. But
Corporate espionage.
Cyber espionage.
yeah, I mean, that's kind of where we're at now. Corporate
that's why
is for sure a thing.
That's why even your newer movies have to kind of put themselves in an older time. I think I'm trying to remember if Bridge of Spies doesn't that it takes place. It's a
Modern.
World
is it
War-
modern?
I thought it was World
No,
War.
it's more modern, but no,
I thought it was like a 1970s
Cold
thing.
War.
Cold War.
It's
yeah.
Kingsman,
Ooh,
which
I
I
love the
really
Kingsman
enjoy the
series.
series there. But those are all like older as well. Like they take
Yeah.
place, or at least I guess the Kingsman definitely does.
we got to put
Yeah,
those
especially
on
the
a
throwback
list.
one.
I want to see those. I've never seen any of them.
Oh, they're so good.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Really good.
Are they?
By the way,
Yeah.
you don't have to be the spy to be the lead of a spy film. They're just spies have to exist, right? So like,
Right.
um,
Antonio Banderas and Spy Kids, right? I got you.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
classic.
No.
Sure.
but he was a successful assassin in that movie, right? He was like
Right.
he was like a spy, like a
Right.
anyway, my
Spy Dad.
he
my
was a spy
example
that
was
loved
gonna
me.
be-
He loved me.
my example is going to be North by Northwest, where Cary Grant is constantly being confused for a spy. Like he's
Mhm.
not
Yeah.
a spy at all, but he's
Yeah.
constantly being treated as though he is one.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting twist.
Yes, resting spy face. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, that's a good. There's other movies like that too. I
It's
guess.
another big trope. Yeah. There's your big tropes are the person who's kind of recruited, the unwilling participant who's kind of recruited into being a spy, like enemy of the state.
played by
kind of
Melissa
thing.
McCarthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Or,
Oh, Enemy of the State's perfect. That's a great example of that. Yeah. I love
Yeah,
that.
or what's the newer one with Ron Howard, Bryce Dallas Howard, Argyle? Oh man, I wanted that movie to be so
Argyle?
much
Yeah.
better. Yeah, Argyle.
Almost thought you meant Argo.
Right, but then you've got, like you described, the person who's either confused for being a spy or somehow gets caught up with a spy and taken along for the ride. I guess Argyle is
Right.
more that, because Bryce Dallas Howard doesn't become the spy; she just becomes tied to the person who's the spy, which is Sam
Spy
Rockwell.
adjacent.
Yeah, she gets wrapped up in it in a way that you
Right.
didn't want to get wrapped. They're unwilling participants in the spy game, which I think is can be fun and can be really well done. You mentioned Enemy of the State. I think is an amazing one. Tony Scott film was incredible.
Yeah.
And we did that forever ago, but I love that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Gene Hackman, was I speaking of Gene Hackman earlier? Was it the last movie we did?
You should have been.
Oh no, it was here because we were talking about the No Way Out thing.
Right. Yes.
Where he's the vice president.
Yeah.
Do
Do we have room for our do we have room in our heart for spy couples like True Lies and
Like Mr. and Mrs.
Mr. and
Smith.
Mrs. Black Smith? That's it. Mr.
Yeah.
Mr. and Mrs. Black?
Mrs. Black.
It's the wedding that
thinking
I
of
just
Black
it
other
actually was
thing.
for Mr. and Mrs.
Meet
Black.
Joe Black.
Really?
I was getting- I was getting Meet
That's
Joe
cool.
Black in there
Yeah.
mixed up for some reason.
Yeah.
Well, it's because
Jared Black.
Brad Pitt's in both,
Yeah.
so that's why you did
Yeah.
it. I think those fit. I think that's fine, and they can be comedies too.
Mhm.
That's all right.
Yeah,
I
Randy.
Spy
The
and
reason
yeah.
Yeah. That TV show, by the way, if you haven't seen the Mr. and Mrs. Smith show with Donald Glover and
it's really good.
Maya Erskine from Penn Island or Penis Land. No, Penn Penis, I guess is just Penn 15.
Pin
Penis Land.
15, there you go. It's
Yeah.
spelled cleverly,
Um,
but it's penis.
Yeah,
It's so good. It's really, really
it's a
good.
wonderful show. And when they said
Yeah.
they weren't doing 2 seasons, I got sad because
Yeah.
they deserve more than that. But yeah, it's also
A long
more,
time
isn't
ago.
it? It's more true to whatever the source book stuff was, right? Like it's.
That's what they say. Yeah. Obviously, I don't know I didn't know
Obviously.
the original material for Mr. and Mrs.
Yeah.
Smith, but it feels like it is more true, probably because they have more time to do it than the.
And the first one,
Brad
or the
Pitt.
not first one, but the movie felt like
Mhm.
just an excuse for those two to.
Just an excuse. It was really just a date. It was really just a Tinder date.
Yeah, and that's where they started their whole thing, right? That's where they got
it is,
together.
yeah.
That didn't go well.
My dad loved a spy movie from the 80s, and I've never seen it.
Okay.
And I remember him telling me that he thinks I would like it, and I have never seen it for some reason. It's never come across my desk, and it's called Pascali's Island.
Never heard of it.
Oh.
And
I've never heard either.
it stars Ben Kingsley, Charles Dance,
Wow.
and Helen Mirren.
Whoa,
and you would think that's got to be famous.
Yeah.
But
I think so.
it's
Yeah.
I've never seen Pascali's Island. and
What was is that in the vein of like the Taylor Tinker toy toddler spy,
I
whatever?
really don't know.
Cobbler Spy.
Tinker Tater Tot Spy. Yes.
Tinker Taste.
Because I love
Gosh.
that series and I love that movie. They are so good. The series that the
And it's
movie's
called
based on.
Pascali's Italian
Pascali's
restaurant. What's
Island.
Pascali's Island.
Island?
Pascali's authentic Italian food.
Right.
Well, when you're here, you're a spy.
Right.
I haven't heard of that, but it sounds like one of those British,
Uh-uh.
deep British spy movies, and I like those a lot.
Yeah.
You want to sack it?
I mean,
I
would,
love the
I would
cover
sack it.
art.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why don't we
I love
sack it?
The first line of the description, 1908, Basil Pascali, was played by Sir Ben Kingsley, a spy for the Sultan, sends reports to Istanbul that nobody reads.
Wow.
Wow,
Got
that's
Charles
intriguing.
Dance in it. Yeah,
Charles
now we're
Dance
talking.
is great.
I would watch Charles Dance in anything.
I heard Peter Dinklage in an interview, or no, it was a Hot Ones where he was promoting that Brothers movie. He asked him about his
wait to
relationship
see
with
that.
some of the Game of Thrones actors, and he talked about his dad being played by Charles Dance, and he really liked working with him, and he kept calling him Charlie Dance, and I haven't been able to forget about that.
Charlie Dance.
It's cute. I love Charlie
Waiting
Dance.
for
He
that.
says,
I can't wait for that to come out though. In next March or so? That's going to be so.
"What, the Brothers thing? It's out."
Yeah. Well, maybe not think. Oh, the brothers thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's on.
I was thinking you were talking about the
recommend-
Russo brothers doing the new. He's not in that one. Is
No,
he?
no,
Yeah,
no.
He is. No, he's not.
No, I don't think so. I think I know what you're talking about. That's not it. You're talking
Yeah,
about the
yeah,
one
yeah.
with the
The robots.
right. It's got the girl from Stranger Things, Millie Bobby
Yeah,
Brown.
yeah.
Millie
Yeah.
Bobby Brown.
That looks cool.
Millie Bobby.
I'm excited about that too. But yeah, no, this was
The Electric
this is
State.
that comedy, and I gave it a recommendal with a caveat, which is it's good, but it's got some issues. But I really enjoyed Brothers.
Mhm.
Those guys are funny.
Hmm.
It's a funny movie. It's like
Yeah.
I don't know what to compare it to. It was like the I don't know what it's like. I don't know. It's like buddy cops, but they're actually criminals.
Is there any spying in it?
No spies.
Oh,
I don't think. His mom's
spies like us.
his mom, Glenn Close, is kind of a spy. So spies like, you know what?
By the way, great spy comedy, by the way, Spies Like
Well,
Us.
that's a
But
good
there's your-
question. Can spy comedies?
unwitting-
How do you feel about spy comedies, though, Wibbit? Do you like Spies Like
Oh, I
Us is a
like
good time, but do you think they're like I don't
Yeah.
know? You like
I mean,
them?
you don't go into them saying, "Oh, I'm going to really get some cool international espionage," or no, I'm going to get a bunch of people getting out of their tents in the snow, taking their clothes off, and dancing to Soulfinger.
Yeah, that's true. You are going to get that.
I mean,
You're gonna
that's,
get
even the Kingsman stuff has a lot. It's very, very comedically influenced for sure.
Yeah,
Right.
So's the comic. It's
We're gonna
based
get
on,
some.
if I remember.
Gonna get some Chevy Chase looking like that, like I just put in Discord. Can you have
Oh,
that? maybe?
jeez. Yeah,
I want
Dan
to.
Aykroyd?
Yeah.
I want to stand for the resistance. I don't like
All right.
spy comedies. I like.
Oh.
There are things I like. I like Spy, Melissa McCarthy. I like Austin Powers. I like. There are things I like. But
Brave.
the overall concept, I don't like.
Did you say?
And the problem is when you said spy comedies, what popped into my head was Mr. Bean, Johnny English, and I don't
Ah,
like it.
Yeah, I don't like.
You
You
Johnny
don't like
English either.
Mr. B? Oh,
No, Mr. Bean's great. Johnny English is
But
not good.
Johnny English.
Johnny English is bad. That's a bad.
What about?
movie.
I'm sure there's some Jackie Chan comedy spy movies, right? Isn't the Tuxedo something?
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
What was that called? Tuxedo something.
It was called the Tuxedo, I think.
Is that it?
I think it's Tuxedo
Yeah, 'cause
Taylor
it's-
Soldier
yeah,
Spy.
yeah. Tuxedo is-
Tinker Tailor
Tuxedo
Soldier Tuxedo.
Tater
It was
Tot.
all about the tuxedo, which had special powers.
Yeah, yeah. He's
right.
was it you? Someone just told me he's got a new like straight martial arts movie coming out. Who was that said that?
Oh, really?
Dunaway maybe during TMS or something.
He keeps retiring, and they keep sucking him back in.
But like he's been doing all these comedies and he's kind of, just sort of not really
Yeah.
fighting anymore, but this is supposed to be him at his current age like kicking ass again. I don't know what that means, but watch for it.
All
Catch
right,
it.
Randy, how about The Man Who Knew Too Little?
Yeah, how about that?
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not saying that an individual movie is like bad to me. I'm saying the idea of it.
Just the idea
overall-
of spy comedies. That is
So
that is
not
your
so Top Secret does not fall in that category. You still think that's an amazing movie?
Well,
Oh yeah, I love Top
I don't know
Secret.
about amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know about
That's a
amazing,
good
but-
movie.
Top Secret's a spoof on war movies, though.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
a spoof on Top Gun only.
No. The other one was the spoof on Top Gun. The
Hot
Hot
Shots.
Shots.
Yeah,
Hot Shots.
Hot
Thank
Shots.
you. You're right. I'm
That's
thinking of Hot Shots.
Top Secret is the Val Kilmer.
Yeah,
I know a
yeah,
little
yeah.
German. He's right over there.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
I want you to hear the names of the 4 most prominent spy movie series,
Okay.
and I want you to pick the one that you would watch. You would choose to watch its 3 best movies over the others. Those are
Oh.
Mission Impossible, Jason Bourne, James Bond, Jack Ryan. Now you're going to pick the best 3 movies of the series to watch.
Of
Which one
each
do you
of them. So one of from
Which one do you choose? Do you choose Mission
Casino
Impossible, Jason
Royale.
Bourne, James Bond, or
gotcha.
Jack
I have
Ryan?
to choose one. I have to choose one of the series and then choose the 3 best movies from that series.
yeah.
And then
I think I'm doing James Bond and I'm doing Casino
Oh.
Royale, Quantum of Solace, and No Time to Die.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Ooh.
Quantum of Solace.
I would leave No Time to Die up there.
Becomes such a better movie when you pair it with Casino Royale.
Yeah.
Like the 2 of those, it's like the Infinity War Endgame.
Yeah.
of James
Yeah.
Bond. Those 2 have to.
But
be
I would take
Yeah.
Skyfall over. I'd take Skyfall over that last one any day. That
No Time
really
to Die?
disappointed me. Yeah.
Yeah, Skyfall feels like the natural ending of the series to me.
I would
to
agree.
watch
That
that.
last one bummed me out for. I couldn't
Bummed
even tell you
you
why.
out.
Maybe it's because it was so. Maybe it was so
Actor or No
delayed.
Time to Die?
No time to die. It was so delayed that maybe that contributed to me just being disappointed. But I don't
so
know.
much buildup because of the pandemic and stuff, and releasing and not releasing and pulling it back. And
It
now
might
we're gonna
be.
release.
I'll admit it might be some of that
Mhm.
covers it. different, but-
Dunaway, you want to pick something other than James Bond, Mission Impossible?
Absolutely. Well, since I can't pick that, I will go with my favorite 3 Laserdisc set that was Mission Impossible 1, 2, and 3. I'll go Mission Impossible 3, then 1, then 2.
Oh, that's good.
Interesting.
One. Wait,
you-
3 is three's my favorite too. I'm with you. 3's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Yeah.
Freaking
Yeah.
love 3. Best J.J.
What-
Abrams.
God, when do we get part 2 of freaking Dead Reckoning?
I don't know,
that one
but-
was like that was another pandemic misfire problem thing. And,
I want you to know that if you go by Ranker or
Yeah.
like Rotten Tomatoes, the first 3 aren't in the top 4.
Well,
You know?
because
Wow.
people are weird with their brains.
they have bad memories, right?
Yeah.
They think of like, oh, Fallout and
It's the new ones, man. It's only good
yeah,
if it's
the
new.
new one. The new one that we've only really seen half of. Oh, that's the best one.
Yeah.
And by the way, Mission Impossible 2 is a stinker. So
I mean,
Yeah,
it's a
that's the reason why it was
stinker.
on my
Yeah, it's a
bottom, but it's
stinker,
still
but I
fun.
also love John Woo to the point that I will forgive a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm okay
Mhm.
with it.
pasta lasagna. Don't get none on you.
Yeah, of all to answer your question. Oh, geez, this is hard because I'm trying to do a different one than everyone else has picked, but I would probably lean Bond and maybe I like the Bourne movies quite a bit. And I put the
I find them
put
tiring. I don't know if I could watch 3 in a row. I love watching
Yeah.
them every once in a while,
Oh,
but 3 in a
sure.
row, oh,
yeah, they're a little tight. Yeah, it's true.
exhausting.
I think I would go. Oh, geez, this is too hard of a question. I'm going with Taylor Tonka Tinker Toiler Spy.
Talker, plumber spy.
Unfortunately, it's not a series, but it is a series, a TV series. But
Tinker Tailor Tommy Two-Tone. That's the one you're going
that's
with.
the one I meant. Yeah, you nailed it. Yeah,
I would love to have Scott sometime like looking at a menu and just go, I want something that's not even here.
Right, not even a franchise, but I'm going to go Tinker Tailor
I don't know why, and none of those are inspiring me.
are grabbing you.
Yeah, I don't know why, because I do like it I like the spy genre generally speaking, but I don't think I have a favorite series of 3. Probably, you know what? Probably Mission Impossible, and it would be close to Brian's list. Although I think I'd go 3, 4. And then the one, what's the one where Henry Cavill cocks his arms? What's that?
Oh, that was so good.
I love that
The
one.
later
Yeah.
Mission Impossibles are better movies, but something about the younger Tom Cruise I just like so much better.
I don't like 1 at all.
That's
I really
very-
dislike the first one. It's not.
I like the
I don't like it. I like the trope of him hanging because it influenced so much stuff and is such a great
Sure.
meme and everything. But the overall of that movie, plus I don't know. I don't know what it is about that first one. De Palma did that, right? Brian De Palma, I think.
De Palma?
Or am I thinking of somebody else? Whatever.
I will go with James Bond, and I'll go with the first 3 James Bonds. We're not even counting the On Her Majesty's Secret Service here. I would watch Goldfinger for the first James Bond, For Your Eyes Only for the second James Bond, and The Living Daylights, I think, for Timothy.
That's a great Timothy Dalton one. Yeah.
Sexy.
For Your Eyes Only just stands out Roger Moore for me because it's the first Roger Moore movie I ever saw.
Yeah.
I just for whatever reason, like that will really stick with you.
Was that your first Roger Moore as well, Ibit? Because it's mine as well.
Yeah, that was my first as well. Yeah.
I think we landed at the exact right time for everybody or something.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
And then Live and Let Die right after that one.
Live and let die.
I also like The Spy Who Loved Me. Or no, which was the one that had, it was controversial at the time. Now I don't think that it's no big deal, but the actress was transgender, but nobody knew.
Oh, yeah.
So why was everybody upset about it?
Because Roger Moore was upset because he made out with her and then didn't know. No one told him.
Oh, but he didn't find out until later.
Yeah.
It's the one where he goes to Japan or goes to
I can't remember.
Hilarious.
Something like that. But he made out with her and then he was mad. And then I remember thinking, well, why would you get mad? I know. I was like, why would you get mad, Roger Moore? Freaking, it just meant he was
not like
it just meant he was a little phobic. It meant he was phobic of some sort. But the other thing was, then my friend, I had this friend named Dan who
For Eyes Only.
Was that it? For Your Eyes Only.
Yep.
For eyes only.
Yeah. For eyes only.
For eyes only. No tater tots.
For eyes only.
Tinker Tailor, no tater tots. Anyway, what I thought was funny though, not funny, but this in retrospect, I kind of laugh at it. I had this friend who every time we watched the movie, and it was quite a big, because we had it on VHS, he's looking for a mustache on that lady now because he had heard the story. So he spent years of our young life going, dude, we got to watch that James Bond movie. I swear I can see a mustache.
The fact that you didn't notice right away means it was fine. It worked out great.
I know. It's so dumb, dude. He's an idiot.
Right. If you didn't know until they told you, then they did a good job.
Let me tell you about that guy now. He's an idiot now, too.
Guess what? He was probably an idiot then, too, but that's okay.
Yeah, he doesn't listen to this show. It's fine. All right. Well, there's your...
He's busy watching the movie over and over again, trying to deal with his childhood trauma.
Right, yeah, exactly. He just must find the mustache on that lady.
In all those series, by the way, I want to stand up for the Jack Ryan franchise because the Patriot Games, Clear and Present Danger, Sum of All Fears trio is so underrated. I think Patriot Games, Clear and Present Danger, Sum of All Fears, you could sit and watch and really enjoy, and I think you'd enjoy them all. I don't think there's like a stinker in the middle there.
I agree. They're good. I don't like the one with Affleck. It's not my jam.
That's my favorite of the 3.
Really? Ugh.
The Hunt for Red October?
No, Sum of All Fears.
Sum of All Fears.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a fun one. I think that one's fun.
Alec Baldwin.
Baldwin was
dark, but it's fun.
I don't know. I'm not going to besmirch any of that, but I just think the Harrison Ford stuff sticks with me. But then again, it may as well be Air Force One. It's like the same reason I like that. I just like his whole like, damn it, we gotta stop that thing. That's all going bad.
Yeah.
Get off my thing.
Well, we've I know. Like
a different movie, but it is that delivery.
Yeah, it's that thing that I like about him, and I never get tired of that. Yeah,
I have a feeling that real spying is a lot more boring than the action movies we've just referred to.
Oh hell yeah!
All those are very fun action movies.
Yeah,
it's like being, like being a private investigator. Oh, that sounds like so cool job. Until it's like, oh yeah, no, I just work for insurance agencies, parked outside of people's houses to see if they walk out and get their paper without crutches.
Yeah, eating bad food in the car. It's not a good life.
Exactly. Yes,
it's a bad life.
Spying's probably boring until it's not. I'm sure it's like the promise of, oh shit.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. But then, running down the side of a building in Dubai, it's never going to happen to you.
No.
Just aren't going to do it. It's an amazing scene though. Yes. Well, anyway, there's our look at spy films. What are your favorites at home? Send us your feedback. Let us know. You can do all that at frogpants.com, not frogpants.com, filmsack.com. And there's a link there to all the ways to contact us. We'd love to hear your picks. What are some we missed? What are some hidden gems out there? Are there comedies that deserve more attention? That sort of stuff. We'd love to hear from you. In the meantime,
have you ever seen Pascali's Island?
No.
I would like to know.
If you have, should we sack it? Because I think maybe we should.
Came across Randy's desk.
Yep. Let's all pull the chair up to Randy's desk and watch this movie.
Yeah.
What's this?
In the meantime, don't forget next week we're doing Robin Hood, as long as it's still there, I suppose, on Netflix. 2010's Robin Hood from Ridley Scott. So do your homework and get ready for that. In the meantime, that's going to do it for us, for me, for Brian, and for Randy.
Look out.
Look out. We'll see you next time.